Hello and welcome to my review of William Shakespeare's Star Wars by Ian Deutscher, I guess that's how it's pronounced. Verily, A New Hope, which is the first film. I wanted to focus first of all just on the cover, which if you haven't seen it, is it's a paper cover, but it's really beautifully illustrated in sort of an intaglio style with some colors and obviously done in Elizabethan garb. So the first thing to say is that this is actually a really beautifully illustrated little volume, and again they have pictures in it. So there's an act picture, which is nice. You know, it's a lightsaber, and again it's got that kind of engraved in intaglio style. Yeah, that's it. So there are different pictures, and again you can see here Vader is in his Elizabethan garb, and there's Captain Antilles getting the worst end of an interrogation. This one's particularly nice with the mist coming through on the Kenobi and Vader duel. So the illustrations are nice. So the whole conceit of this is that it's written as if Shakespeare had written the Star Wars plays, which means that it's written as a play, first of all, and that the language is Shakespearean in style and tone, and often in almost direct turns of phrases, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But one of the complaints that you hear about Star Wars is that the language is kind of dumb and you know, as nice as the story is and it's interesting, the language leaves a lot to be desired. I think Harrison Ford especially was particularly vocal about you can write it but you can't say it. Well, so maybe this solves that particular problem. Anyway, so it's the story of Luke and the droids and all of that, the same story. What's interesting is that their R2, you can see here, does the beep 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 thing, but he'll also do kind of asides to the audience, which are funny. I don't know if I can find one right here, but 3PO and R2 are very much, you know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. They're witnesses to the action without necessarily being huge parts of it. One thing I do really like is the use of the chorus. So anytime there's a huge action scene, especially special effects, the chorus steps in and has to give us the scene in rhyming couplets here, actually. Now watch amazed as swiftly through the door the army of the Empire flieth in, and so on and so forth. So this is the scene at the beginning of the movie with the stormtroopers coming in. And they're particularly, the chorus are used whenever there's a lot of special effects. But, so, some of the Shakespearean jokes. Here we have on board the Falcon as they're heading towards the Death Star, traveling through hyperspace, feeling like Dustin Crops' boy. And there you see the Shakespearean version of it. But this is a great bit. Luke says, "What light through yonder flashing censer breaks?" Those of you who remember Romeo and Juliet and "What light through yonder window breaks," there's lots of jokes like that in here. Far more, I'm sure, than I even recognize. I'm no Shakespearean scholar. But for example, here is Luke doing his "Alas, poor Yorick," "Alas, poor stormtrooper, I knew ye not," and so on. So nice soliloquy there. Another big famous speech here. Luke, it's right before the Death Star battle. "Friends, rebel starfighters," that's friends, Romans, countrymen, right? And then this speech goes on to more or less be the Crispin's Day speech from Henry V. The Band of Brothers. Where did that go? It's in this speech somewhere. But anyway, yeah, so shall think themselves accursed they were not here. That's Henry's famous speech. So there's some really neat nods in here to that sort of thing. So here's, for example, the chorus talking about the Death Star's explosion. Spoiler alert. But it's neat to imagine how this would have been staged, and in fact I wouldn't be terribly surprised if this did get staged by some local rep company. The book itself is fairly small. I would say, maybe 8 by 6 or something like that. Not a very thick volume, can be read pretty quickly. What I don't really like about it is once you get the cover off, well, first of all, it's been dinged up just through use and when it got shipped, this is just kind of a, you can feel it there, just sort of a cruddy, paper cover, really, over cardboard. And yeah, it looks like leather, but it isn't. They now have done all 3 volumes in this series. You can actually see an ad for it in the back of this one. And what I would really like to see, because I enjoyed this and I want to get the other 2, is for them to come out with sort of a deluxe edition where a bit more care is given to the presentation, maybe some bonded leather. Barnes & Noble is doing their books that way. Something like that would be really nice to see. I guess that's about it, really. It's an enjoyable book if you like Shakespeare, if you like Star Wars, if you just like funny, kind of quirky versions of Star Wars. It's certainly not without its own merit. It's not just tossed off. I find the cookbooks and stuff, for example, to be kind of a waste of time. You may disagree with me on that, but this is actually fun to read and interesting. So pick it up if you see it, if it sounds at all interesting to you, and check back for other reviews of Star Wars books. Thanks for looking.